All right, what is the origin of Newark Mud?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's like anything, you know. It's just an idea, some, you know. It's a really bad haiku poem. You know, I didn't finish it. Just the word symbols. You know, I wouldn't read too much in it.
What is your music writing process? Do you sit down and do lyrics and then put music around it, or vice versa?
Well, it's it all is a little bit of, I don't know. It's like everything. It's about integrating all sorts of things that I'm interested in. You know, from the big things, life and love and relationships and family and mysticism and spiritualism and all those things, and then it's random observations and it's characters and it's I guess it's my work is just how I consider it. The song parts seem to be the things that you build up for, because I'm not a painter or an illustrator or any in a visual sense, and I don't write novels and I don't write plays and things, so I don't sculpt, so it's the thing that represents all, what I mean. It's the one place where all that stuff can happen, sonically and performance wise and content wise. It's just little tiny emotional and it's just about emotion and experience, and taking the time to put your touch on it and say like, oh, you know what, that's how I like it. And everyone, wants to fall in love and everyone wants to write love songs, you know what I mean? But it's how you turn the phrase that makes someone's love song different from someone else's,
Right.
Those words are very simple, but it's also, incredibly deep and complex at the same time. That's the dance between those two ideas is what it's about.
Right.
It's give and take, and it's, at 1 minute it's the smallest detail, and then at this exact same instance it's the biggest thing, or just vast is what I'm thinking.
Right. Hardest song that you've ever recorded out of your whole career?
I don't think any of it's hard. I don't look at it that way.
It's
There's some emotional things,
Right.
like sometimes salvation. Like again with time comes like a big change. I mean, I can remember I improvised that very last bit. I never wrote the last verse of a song like that. So when I was kind of the part of the song on the record where I start screaming was really, I was improvised the lyrics and I kind of started screaming at the end and really let it go, because of a number of things that were happening. But it wasn't difficult, it was, I mean, I can remember being younger and like being really worked up and crying and like, what is this,
While you were writing a song?
Oh, sometimes yeah, if something really is, if you're in the mood and something is profound to you and it's touched an emotional thing, I mean, sometimes you look down on the page and, the words just fall out in front of you, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't really even you don't even think about it, and that's the times when then you're kind of writing and you're putting this stuff down and you know what it is, and it should be emotional, like the real trick is it's not hard to record it, it's hard to, sometimes really emotional songs I don't think you should play all the time, because it's not fair to everyone and it's not fair to yourself, But then again, there's a whole side of me that I'll wait till I'm like 80, and I won't have to worry about going on the road, and then I'll make some really heartbreaking music, so I'll never have to go out and sing it. I'll sing it the once, and then that's it, you know.
Are you over the whole rock star thing? You've had that time with the Black Crowes. You've had all that. What is your?
Well, I don't know. I tell you this, man. The whole rock star thing and what it means. What it means, you know, the first thing when someone calls you rock star, to me was, you know, if there's this, like being on one side or the other, I thought that it would have been a lot cooler than it was. You know what I mean? Like, I found pretty quickly that being a rock star, when you join the rock star club, then you're in there with anyone who's just been popular, as opposed to somebody, you know, and I wasn't
who's produced good work.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so in a sense, David Crosby's still a rock star. Is Bob Dylan a rock star? Or is, you know, McCoy Tyner a rock star? You know what I mean? I can get behind it because I play rock music and I've been successful at it. And I can get behind the idea that maybe if, you know, when the magic is happening, that you can put forth some sort of vibration that people find exciting or whatever, right? But in terms of the modern idea of what a rock star is, I don't think there could be anything more boring. You know, the archetypal kind of rock star shit that I grew up with would be like, you're only as good, I think, in terms, you know, you should always be 1 foot firmly planted in being totally anonymous and being able to, you know, fall back into the silt and live your life, and 1 foot firmly planted in being, you know, someone of some notice, you know. I mean, that's where the real fertile place is. You know, in an age where people are comfortable like making like these little pop kids look like artists,
yeah, and
they want to talk about them like there's, you know, when people are validating that,
right?
And what do you think?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, what
exactly.
I don't, you know, it's funny, like I don't even live anywhere near the reality of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And you know what? When the Black Crowes were on MTV fucking 12 times a day, and it was the same type of shit, I didn't live in it then. And it made it, you know what I mean?
But when the first album broke and all that kind of stuff, man, that's exciting times. That's
oh yeah,
that's,
totally. But
you know, you seeing the music video and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but I always knew. To be honest, I wasn't the kind of guy who drove around and heard my song on the radio and was like, I really made it. You know, I didn't see my video. I was like, this is just a video on MTV with a lot of other fucking videos.
You guys knew you were going to be big.
Well, but the other part of what I was going to say is I'm not being flippant. The other part of it is I knew what really mattered from when I was a teenager to today was what we left on those records. The songs we wrote, the gigs we played, the tours we put together, again, you know, that's where it all gets. At the end of the day, why, you know, people could say what, you know, at the end of the day, we could have the worst attitudes of all, and we could have been totally out of our mind, raging lunatic, rock and roll, revolutionary, drug-taking believers, which we were. And you know what? You couldn't take it away from us, because at the end of the day, we laid it all out on the stage. And when I say revolutionary rock and roll drug-taking believers, that's what we proved to everyone every day, you know? Not interested in staying there my whole life, man. Not possible, you know? The one thing about trying to have some space to be in the present is being available to all the change and the flux that's always happening, you know. Anything else is just blind arrogance. So, you know, within all that, man, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? Am I going to cut my hair, and am I going to
get sober and go to AA?
Yeah, you know. No, you know what, man? I just stopped doing drugs. I didn't have to go to any meetings or anything. It was one meeting, and
did you go to one?
It was with my drug dealer. And I said, listen, this isn't working out.
Did you grow up in the church?
No.
All the biblical references in your song. 40 days. 40 days about the flood, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I
Handful of
mean, you
sermons,
know, but
mouthful
I
of
mean,
spiders.
I'm a Southern person, and I'm interested in history, and I'm interested in literature, and I'm interested in blues and gospel, and
Right.
I mean, it's there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't.
But did your folks and stuff, I mean, did you guys go to church on Sunday when you were kids? Once in a while?
Oh no, yeah, once in a while,
Yeah.
but
Just,
no. I
but
was
you don't have any beliefs towards that at all?
Christian beliefs?
Christian,
No, I mean I have
biblical.
deep rooted
Dimensional belief?
faith in divinity. Yes, you know, in the divine. But I think that what is in us is outside of us, and I think we're all kind of part of this constant level of energy and vibration, and it's, you know, it's light and dark, and it's the balance, and then I believe in love. You know, it's called love, where all of that transcends language and action and time and stuff. You know, but you know the problem with that is there's no, you don't have to join. You know, you don't have to be a certain way. You don't have to do anything except understand, you know. For the sheer fact that somebody like me can go into a studio in the year 2004 and get together a bunch of weirdos and record a bunch of music that I've dreamed up in my head, that's victory alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I already won. Now, all the other stuff, the music business side of it and the rock star side of it, that is going to be what it's going to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you know, if I threw together a group of songs at the time, and it's the, you know, if the timing's right or whatever, again, I've never had a great relationship with timing because I'm a writer. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's funny. I've always been interested in the mediums that are timeless. You know, it's the same language that we've always used, regardless of the few new nuances here and there. Music is an ancient language, scales and notes. You know, it's all these things that tie us to who we were and where we're going. You know, those are things that interest me. Those are the constant themes that run through the experience that we
big
all
song.
have. Yeah, exactly.
Big song.
But that's also a greater, you know, it's a greater piece. You could argue, you could say like, well, you know, I'm 37 years old and I've sold millions of records and I've been all around the world and blah blah blah. I could make it much easier for myself, and I could have
Right.
picked a number of other paths to take in my career in terms of literally having a safety net and also being interested in status.
Right.
And being interested in keeping up with the music business. You know what I mean? It's like it's insane to me to think that because you know what I mean? It's insane for me to look around and say like, oh, because I choose to make music from this sort of organic place that is deeply rooted in the history of music, not just American root music forms, but you know, a deeper level of communication and somehow rhythm and melody and all these things. You know, if there wasn't some higher meaning than just me getting off on being successful or what hit songs mean, you know what I mean? Like why, you know, I need to be considered this and I need to be the, you know, it's like to me the the one thing I learned over the years is solely one thing, and that is, you know, at the end of the day, I'm the one that has to live with everything, you know. So I need to make decisions based on that, what makes me comfortable.
Do you change writers' dirty diapers?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not, to be honest, the weird thing is, and I think I'll probably change more of the next babies because people stand in line to change his diapers. I don't know what that says about him. I mean, I already know he's one of my favorite humans that I met, but yeah, I don't really have an opportunity to change his diapers because everyone's rushing to do it. He's like the prince,